Hi, and I'm saying Happy New Year early. Um, because there's the few days, um, until, because this is, the day after Christmas, 2025, and New Year's will be on the 31st again this year. Why wouldn't it be? But, So the actual idea was supposed to be that we do everything over there and then um I mean, do everything in the row over there and then come over here and take out this row. But I think we messed up somehow. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, so this is one in. So the next one will be the one next to what we just took out. Okay. Okay, so I was talking to y'all this whole time and I realized I was not recording. Wasn't that smart? Um so I want to start out with I write books and they're available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook, and they are the Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 1, Pirate's Daughter, the Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 2, Misfortune, the Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 3, Hard Times, the Rolling Sea Traitor Book 1, Esperanza's Party, the Rolling Sea Traitor Book 2, The Island, and the Rolling Sea Traitor Book 3, Lessons in Love. I'm still working on that one, but it will come out eventually. Um, Probably January 2026, unless some kind of miracle happens. Because unfortunately, I have to be the one to do this because if I just tell my husband, just audio this, he's not going to know what to do necessarily. Or I'm inevitably going to not like something that went on in the story chapter and have to go and do all that work all over again. So, um, anyway, and then there's a separate series called Adopted, and the first book is Coral. Um, I'm trying to, introduce you to my cats, and they're actually pictures that I took of my cats. I figure we're gonna have a lot of pets, and they're all gonna have their own little stories. And since Sam's is really interesting, but I had three cats at the time. I still have three cats right now, but it's a different three cats. But anyway, since we had three cats at the time, um, I wanted to make sure that um, that all three got a story. So far, just the one cat has gotten a story, and that was written so long ago that I don't even know what's in the book except for when I read it. So, yeah. But anyway, it's a children's book and it should be able to be read by children. I still think it's maybe a level 2, because it does have medicine, adopted, and pound. My other goal with those stories is that I want kids to feel happy about being adopted. If it's one of those things where, like, their parents, couldn't take care of them, or their parents, passed away in a car crash or something like that, it's okay to be raised by grandma. It's okay to be raised by Aunt Lynn or people that you don't even know. Well, didn't know before they adopted you. As long as it's not, one of those situations where the kid got adopted so they could be slave labor, that would definitely be a bad thing. Um, but, um, but, I want to help kids understand that it's okay to be adopted. Um, because when you're in grade school, maybe when the kid says, I'm being raised by my grandma, the kids are going to want to know why. And, maybe you're not ready to tell yet, but, you read Coral's book or Ben's book or Sam's book, and you're like, you know what? I can tell that now. So, oh, that'd be kind of neat. I was just thinking that if, you start learning to read in kindergarten, unless you're lucky enough to have parents that, um, that try to teach you early. We used to always go to the library, me and my mom. But we had story time. Um, that was when like the Disney books, they came with a audio tape, and you listen to the audio tape and try to read along in the book so you can learn how to read those words. Well, they don't have stuff like that now, except for online. I really wanted to get the Pirates of the Caribbean one that I really wanted to get the Pirates of the Caribbean one that Walmart had that one time, and we finally got the one, the Nightmare Before Christmas one, or did no, we got Olaf. We didn't get Nightmare Before, and I don't think we did get Nightmare Before Christmas. 'Cause it was like, we needed to wait until payday, and it was the next week, and by then all that was there was Olaf. But I really like that one. I don't like Nightmare Before Christmas myself, but my husband does like it, so I wanted to get it. and we just didn't have the opportunity. But I think it was on the Disney website, so I always wanted to get my aunt a copy of like Black Beauty or something where it's got the potential of having big words. I wanted to get her the book, and then I also wanted to get her the audio so she can listen to it and uh, learn how to read even better. Because apparently she can read, uh, but mom said that she's not like the best at it, you know. So, so I always wanted to get that. Um, so anyway, yesterday wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be because we ended up at my mother-in-law's for hours and did not get dinner until after 8 o'clock when we're used to eating at 6. But my husband had a trick up his sleeve yesterday. I don't know how we did this because, he's always saying, we can't afford this and we can't afford that. And then all of a sudden, we've got um, enough money to go to Denny's. That does not make any sense. Um, anyway, we got to go to Denny's yesterday and I got the lumberjack slam. And I was a little worried because we were trying their pancakes for the first time. And now we know we can eat there. We might end up making that a once a month thing, or maybe, uh, maybe we could do that more often, like every Sunday or something like that. I think that'd be nice, but I don't know if we have that kind of money. But we got to go to Denny's. So I got the lumberjack slam that's got um the only thing I don't like in the lumberjack slam is the hash browns. So I gave those to my husband and um oh, there's a house that was decor there was a house that's decorated for the holidays in the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh at Disneyland, and I do not know the answer. Wow. Um. So, so I was watching It's Me, James, and um, well, I had it playing in the background, and I could barely hear it. And I did that on purpose so it wouldn't be on my stream because I haven't asked him, is it okay if like I'm doing my stream and you happen to be in the background? I have asked Suro for that on um for the Disneyland Adventures, and he said yeah. And I always, if I'm gonna have him in the background, even potentially on accident, I always say, that's what I'm watching. So, you know, I give I give a shout out to whoever may potentially be in the background. I wonder if I could bring this here instead, and it's still gonna be in the. The problem is that's still gonna be in the field, and it's supposed to be an empty field, not a having something in it field. But yeah, we will figure it out. You know what? Why don't we just get rid of these houses and go from there? So what we're trying to do here is, we're trying to take these houses out because it's supposed to be an empty field. Um, and then over there, we're trying to take that mountain out because that is where the ocean's supposed to be. And if we take the mountain out, it'll be a lot easier. Um, no! That reminds me of the movie Hook with Robin Williams. It's a Peter Pan story of, Peter Pan grew up like he grew up, he doesn't believe in fairies anymore. Um he doesn't believe he can fly. He totally acts like um he is missing everything that his kid does. That his kids do. He missed the play of his daughter playing Peter Pan. She was Wendy. And then his son's baseball game. And yeah, he said he was going to be there. His word is his bond. And his son eventually goes, yeah, junk bond. Okay, there we go. And then we take this tree out over here. Um, yeah, why was I bringing that? I was bringing that up for a reason because it's a movie called Hook, and oh, I lost the idea there, though. Huh. Well, okay, so part of it is that, or the biggest part of it is that um, Peter Pan ends up having to go back to Neverland, even though he's all grown up and you know he's beyond playing and being a kid, and being a kid. Um, but Captain Hook is still wanting his epic battle war against Peter Pan. So he goes and um, Peter ends up uh, Peter ends up having to make a speech at the Grandma Wendy hospital or orphanage or something like that. Um, anyway, he has to make a big important speech, so they leave the kids at home. Um, I think with Liza and Toodles, but I don't remember if they were even there. So anyway, the kids get put to bed, and the what was her name? Well, I'm gonna call her Molly, but I don't think that's her name. I am 95% sure that that is not her name. But anyway, Molly was trying to say that there was a guy with a hook at the window and that she doesn't want them to leave. And, of course, they had to leave. So, so, um, while they're gone, the kids are supposedly asleep. And, and, just after they shut the door, you see a hook come through the gap from the window. That's going to unlock the door. I mean, that's going to unlock the window. And yeah. So then when they come home, they see a dagger in the door. And yeah, I can describe this stuff a lot better than I can my books, I think. But anyway, it's got a note saying, come rescue your kids if you dare, or something like that. Um, but I forget why I started to tell you about Hook in the first place. Anyway, something I said reminded me of Hook. Oh, well, there was something in there about, uh, you know how on the animated film there's the crocodile and he has a taste for Captain Hook. He thinks Captain Hook tastes really good. Well, they had a ginormous crocodile. I mean, a lot bigger than the one on the animated movie. Like, if it was alive, you could, open its mouth and you could walk in, kind of thing. And but the thing is that in the movie, he's like defeated by Captain Hook, or so you think. But I can't think of what I was trying to tell you about that. Okay, so his name is Jack because it's Run Home Jack. But I can't think of Molly's real name. I mean, her real name for the movie. Because I'm pretty sure it was not Molly. Oh, I can't think of her name. That is driving me crazy. I've seen that movie how many times? Um. Anyway, and as much as the little sister um loves the whole story of Peter Pan, and like I said, she was windy and all that, she is not wanting to stay in Neverland. She wants to go home. Of course, they kind of messed up on one part um, because when you're in grade school, you have E, S, and something. I know it wasn't F. And so Captain Hook is running school for them. He's the teacher, and uh and he gives her an F, and she's like, an F? An F? Like, she's never had an F in her life, and it makes sense because she wouldn't have had that. Because you have, like, E, S, and N or something like that. I don't know what the last one is. But then when you're in older classes, you get um A, B, C, D, and F. 6 things of yours that you wish looked better. So, Family Feud. I love watching Family Feud, and Steve Harvey is, a really good substitute for, except for that, whoever writes the questions makes them as raunchy as humanly possible. Steve Harvey is a really good substitute for Richard Dawson, who obviously couldn't live forever. Um, I don't know if he's still alive or not. I have no idea. But he's the one that used to do Family Feud. And I think there was one more person, but I know Steve Harvey's been doing it forever. And he's even done it in other countries, which I think is really awesome. For a while there, he's doing it in Africa, in different places. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. Um, but they're like, um, uh, I don't know if it was Pua or Pula, but anyway, they're like, we're getting 20,000 we'll call it Pula. I think that's right. I'm not entirely sure. And then the other one, it starts with an R. And anyway, it was interesting. I mean, it's interesting to watch from other countries. Uh, and 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 like, you learn weird stuff that you never knew that you never knew, and it's not really that important, but it it's okay because there was a certain term for, a gold digger, and he's like, "Oh, that's what that is. Okay." And then the day before he had learned uh their word for sugar daddy, and it's like, okay, yeah. He's learning all kinds of weird things, but not necessarily the things you want to learn. Anyway, I'm hoping that we're gonna have um no more long videos that weren't made in like the last 3 days, and it'll be all good, and by like the end of the year we'll be all caught up. But since it says I've got over 700 videos in that folder, I seriously doubt it. The one I started out watching, um It's Me James, was number 99 or something like that. So, and some of them, all I have to do is go into my Just Because folder and build it, and then I will be done, you know? So I can take those off too. Um, I'm hungry. I just don't know if I can microwave the dish that the take home dish. Um, I probably can, but like, don't want to risk it necessarily. And it's going to be the thing of, can I get the lid off? I hope I can, because if I can, then yay, and I can cook it, and I can either transfer it to a different plate and cook it, or I can I've got like half of two pancakes, and because I was doing an experiment yesterday. Christmas Day, not the best day to do an experiment, but it worked out. So I'm like, Christmas miracle? Yeah. You know? Because I had to get my gallbladder out in July. The day after my birthday, actually. But anyway, I had to get my gallbladder out, so we did. And, um, since I couldn't eat bread or cheese before that. I couldn't eat sugary stuff, even like syrup. I couldn't eat that either. Um, so like, I couldn't eat a whole lot of candy or donuts, because of the frosting. Um, we decided to be overly cautious, and like, if we had brownies for somebody's birthday, we would make sure that they were the gluten-free ones. Yeah. Gluten-free. There's nothing wrong with the gluten-free ones, except for that they've got 10 tons of sugar, more than the regular ones. So, ooh, I want to try that. When we can afford to get brownies again, I want to try eating the non-gluten-free ones. I want to eat regular ones. And they're usually cheaper anyway. It used to be, and I hope President Trump is listening to, or President Trump or one of his people is listening to this at one point, because, food should be cheaper too, please. All I'm asking, food should be cheaper. You should not go into the store with $100 and walk out with only 5 things. That is ridiculous. I mean, depending on what you're buying, because hamburger meat has really gone up too. I think it's just that the people that make, that have the, um, that have the, really, thank you so much for telling me. I didn't even notice you were on the teacups until you said something. um, Teacups make me seasick from seeing too much. It's a Tiggerism. If you don't understand, it's okay. Um, Tigger at one point says that he was getting seasick from seeing too much. And I'm trying to explain to my son that that's what I mean. And he says, "No, you're getting motion sickness." It's like, "No, I'm getting seasick." Um, I think motion sickness is more like when you're riding the gravitron or whatever they call it. The one that looks like a alien spacecraft, and when you go inside, it just turns around in circles, and you can actually, if they let you, you could actually go and um, be totally sideways on the ride while it's running. If you try to do that when it's not running, it's not going to work. It's a centrifugal force thing. Um, that I cannot really explain, except for, okay, like if you are, I mean, if you have a bucket with water in it and you go fast enough, you can actually swing it over your head and, swing your arm in a circle over your head and not get wet because it's going to stay in the bucket. Um, and that was on I don't know if you would call it a commercial because it wasn't really advertising anything. It was just telling you how some of the Disney magic was done. Um, but it was Tom Morrow 2.0, and the lady was explaining how they put one of the rides together. It was a roller coaster, or no, It might have been, yeah, I think, mm, okay, it was either a roller coaster or when they were building Grizzly Peaks. I think it was Grizzly Peaks. Anyway, they were building something in California Adventure, and she said whatever she said, and somewhere in there was Ben's metal. And he goes, Ben's metal, because of course he's a robot, so he's worried that they're gonna bend him too. Anyway, it was a cute little segment, and if I thought I could get away with it, I would totally put. Looked like there was somebody in the. That was weird. It looked like a little snow person was in the house, and those snow golems that you make with the pumpkins on their head. I still want to do that where I've got one of these files that has snow and one of these files that don't, but I think I'm gonna have to finish a lot more of the file first. Oh, I was gonna do some but we got to take this out. So maybe I'll do that later. Um Only problem is, okay, so there's 15. I've been trying to do, the whole entire chapter. But anyway, there's 15 pages in this chapter, and I've only done um most of 2. Yeah, most of 2. I did the whole thing in the first one. I think I'm at. Oh, I'm. No, it's not most of it. I'm partway down the page and then realized I need Zach's voice. I think it's supposed to be Liam, but the Excel file says it's supposed to be Alfred, and I think I think it was Alfred. And it sounds good. It really does. I just don't think that's a young enough voice. Um, yeah, it kind of sucks when you have a certain amount of voices and you're only using voices from 4 sets, 5 sets. Okay, so there's the Welsh voice that I'm using as a Scottish Gaelic voice for Hayden. And then there's um I'm actually using a British voice for Morgan. I'm actually using a British voice for Morgan because there is no female Irish person on my list. So then Jocelyn from the British set is the narrator, and she doesn't always get everything right, but she gets more things right than some of the other people. Um, so then I have to go and figure out how did I make this person say it. Yeah. Jocelyn is really good because she can say Chantel when it's spelled the way it's supposed to be spelled with a C. The only thing I changed is that it's an S because sh and Sean and shut, that doesn't have an A in it, but shut, That's all SH. You don't make things CH, but it's a French name. So I always liked that name, and that was the name of one of the girls in our church, and that was the name of one of the girls in our church, and then and, and she had a twin sister, Brittany. So that's where I got two of my names from because I liked both of those names. And I actually got Cheryl and uh, Cheryl and James from my aunt and my uncle. Um, um, I got I got Morgan from I came up with Morgan because that's one of those that in one movie I saw it was a boy's name. That would be Beverly Hillbillies. Um, from 1993, where Jim Varney is playing Jed. And then some other movie I had seen, it was a girl, or maybe that was, when I found out about Cutthroat Island. Anyway, in Cutthroat Island, Morgan is a girl's name. So I'm like, I want to be Morgan. But the thing was that the night before I saw the first commercial for Cutthroat Island is when I wanted to name my character Morgan Adams. But guess what her name is in Cutthroat Island? Morgan Adams. So, okay, fine. Um, had to go and change it. So, I really like Beauty and the Beast, so I liked the name Belle, and that's why I named her, that's what I made her last name. So, okay, so she's Morgan Belle. Um, and at some point in time, her whole entire name became Morgana Nicolette Catherine Bell McCoy. That was before I knew about Morgana and the Magic Treehouse books, supposedly Merlin's sister or something like that. Um, yeah, that was before I knew about that. So, anyway, I was, I was just like, you know, what can I, make her name if it's short for something, what could I make her name? That it would end up being Morgan, and then I came up with Morgana. So, um, so a lot of people in, like a lot of the bad guys, they've heard of Morgana, Nicolette, Catherine Bell McCoy, and they're like, oh, and get scared right away. Or some of them are brave and, they've never met her, so they're not scared. Um, yeah, so the thing is that I cannot wait to do Test in Love now that we've done most of Lessons in Love, and I might go and do that one next um, instead of Jake's story which I love Jake's story. It's just I need to like sit there and read some of it so I can find out what happens and see what would get me hooked to want to do it. Um, because I would get really confused, but I could work on the two books at the same time, but then it would take until at least July to get both of them done. It might even take until this time next year. Um, so I don't know. I've been thinking about it though because I don't think that that book makes as much sense as I wanted it to. So I might have to rewrite some of it and it just needs a little polishing and it'll be great. Oh, they are not in the part of Fantasyland that I thought they were. I thought I was hearing Snow White or maybe Alice now that I think about it, but I thought I was hearing Snow White. And then all of a sudden I look over and no, they're going on It's a Small World. It's like, okay. Oh, me saying okay reminded me of when the little girl Pamela in um, the Santa Claus 2, where, Charlie's acting up, he's on the naughty list. The thing is, I know that wasn't important to the storyline, but like they could have added a little bit, like they could have added a little bit to it or something. I mean, they could have added, like say Charlie going out, although he was probably grounded. But anyway, Charlie going out on a date with his, like just leaving the house saying I'm gonna go hang out with uh his girlfriend. Yeah. I think her name was Daniela. Um. Anyway, there could have just been the little tiny mention. I mean, they said that Scott and Lucy were going to the ice cream parlor, and then all of a sudden he's going out on a date with Miss I Want to Be a Country Western Singer. And I still think that's pathetic that you have to be told to watch your children on a ride. Okay, yeah, there was like some kind of Christmas parade on uh Disney yesterday. I think you can watch the, um, I think you can watch it as an after the fact, as a video. Um, Today, if, if you want. But, I don't remember it being advertised that much, and we went on there a few times this year on Disney Plus. Um, we went on Disney Plus a few times, and they were not advertising that. And then all of a sudden, we're watching Disney Plus yesterday, and they were advertising it hard and heavy. But it was after the fact, so they were saying Christmas parade at 10 o'clock, at Disneyland, and I think I think like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, it was saying something about live coverage, and it's like, yeah, except for that's over by now. We're in the same time zone as Disneyland, and this was like, way later in the afternoon. So, yeah, I knew it was definitely over. Um, okay, so yesterday, um, the kind of bad thing, I mean, I turned it into a good, but the kind of bad thing was that my mother-in-law, she's gonna be all alone on Christmas, 'cause my father-in-law had to work. Duh, makes sense. She wants us to hang out with her. But she wanted to watch Nature's Half Acre, which was, I don't know, made in the 60s, I think. And that was fine, except for that it was mostly about bugs. Like caterpillars and spiders and mama birds. Uh, yeah, the mama bird. There was one baby screaming his head off, and she feeds. We'll call them Nancy and Bob. And, Larry's over there going, Mom, you forgot to feed me. Mom, you forgot to feed me. Mom, you forgot to feed me. And I think Dad finally ended up feeding him. But it was like, it was like they kept coming over and feeding, what I call them, Bob and Nancy, first, and then not feeding Larry at all. I made up their names. I have no idea what their names are. If birds name their babies, um, I don't know what their names were, but it's the best way um to tell you the story. So anyway, she fell asleep on that, and then I asked to watch. We had watched Muppets Christmas Carol. What did I ask to watch? I can't remember, but I fell asleep on it. Because my tummy was all nice and full from, we'll call it lunch, but it was breakfast food. Because I hadn't had breakfast, and uh, I almost got a very upset tummy because we didn't, because I didn't eat before then. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I didn't eat on time. I hadn't been able to eat before, and then we went to Denny's, and so I got the lumberjack slam. And the only thing I don't like on there is the hash browns. So I gave those to my husband, and it was all good. Oh, you know what? If anybody's trying to talk to me, I can't see that. Okay, good. Nobody's trying to talk. Um, I mean, I like it when people talk. I really do. It's just that, when I had the other screen up and I didn't realize, you know, I don't want to be ignoring anybody. So, um, although it happens a lot. Because I get invested in playing the game and then I don't think to look over and see, oh, that person's trying to ask me how my day's going. That person's trying to ask me how my stream's going. That person's trying to sell me viewers over here. You know. Um, and it may not be very nice, but I try to shame every single person who is trying to sell me viewers because I'm going to get my viewers legitimately, but on my own or else. So, we haven't been back to the houses to repaint them either. Um, okay, so I need to get up and go upstairs and then I will come back and we will finish. Well, we're gonna get this um we're gonna get this done and then I'll go upstairs and yeah, take care of business. Let's take care of business. I love that song actually. It's Let's Get Down to Business, but okay. I'll be back. Okay. I got my leftover pancakes too. Because I am hungry. I also have toast. Oh, okay. Okay, wait a minute. So I was gonna leave it like that, and then I was like, no, I need to be able to, I need to have the cliff go down. Okay. Yeah, basically, that whole entire mountain needs to go. Okay. No, 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 no. I probably said this the other day, but when I was a kid, I don't remember the Thundercats being as scary as they look now. Don't know why I just remember that. Okay. Okay. Trying to eat my toast with a fork so I don't get sticky fingers and I end up putting like the whole entire slice, I mean the whole entire piece in my mouth. Um, oh no! Pop's Disney Adventures is all in 4K. He just said so. Um, I have no idea what mine's shot in. Whatever Twitch um records in, because I record on, I stream on Twitch and then I port it over to YouTube. So when it does show, you will be seeing what we did um, on Christmas Eve. You'll be seeing what we did on Christmas Eve, but posted today, and You'll also be seeing. Yesterday you will have seen what we did on the day. I think it was the day before Christmas Eve, or it might have been Christmas Eve. Um, that was posted on Christmas Day. And I did that way on purpose because Christmas Day happened to be a Thursday and I was not posting GTA on Christmas, even if I didn't do anything bad. I just wasn't going to post GTA on Christmas Day. It just seemed wrong. Um, we are not getting rid of this whole entire mountain today, just so y'all know. Um, I will probably, finish this, but that's about it. Okay, one in front, yeah. Hi! Look, toast. Sniffies, not 80s. Okay. You know what? I need a drink of my raspberry tea. Well, I guess since we're at a forced stopping point on the story, if the phone isn't done yet, we'll check it at 11, see if it's done yet. And if it isn't, then we'll have to come up with something. Thing is, I don't want to go in Dreamlight Valley yet, because if I do, I will be stuck there for hours. And then I'll only be able to work on my story afterwards. That's kind of funny that Casey Jr. is, like such a popular thing. It's kind of funny that Casey Jr. is such a popular thing because it's a little piece of the storyline in Dumbo. Literally a little piece. So, I guess this could actually stay here. It doesn't have to go all the way down to Bedrock or anything. Okay, so, yeah. I was looking at it going, there's nothing there. Why did it do one above? I still don't know why. So I used to know how to make pancakes. I don't know if I still do. But like tomorrow, I would be willing to try with my husband helping me just in case I need it. Um, I used to make chocolate pancakes, and I don't know if I could do that anymore. Because you kind of gotta eyeball the mix. You kind of gotta eyeball the mix and make sure that you don't have too much powder. And I was doing that when I was much younger. um, I don't know. I think I was doing that when I was 20. So, anyway, interestingly enough, I haven't done it since. I don't think I've done it since. Or I may have done it for my kids, which would have been back in 2006 to 2008. So, yeah. I don't think I maybe I did. Um, I was, I was the weird mom. I'd, every once in a while, not an everyday occurrence or anything, but I'd make my daughter a bottle of chocolate formula. I don't think I was supposed to, but I do that every once in a while. You just put a tiny bit of Nesquik in there, and it probably wasn't, you know, good for her. But dang. But it was like the kind of thing where I did that once, and she loved it. And so then the next time I did it, she was expecting the chocolate. She got the regular, and she was not happy about it. Um, I waited until she was like, 1 to do that. It kind of sucked though because I was on I think we were on Wick, and so they were getting the baby formula for me. Um, they were paying for it. Well, you could get 8 canisters, and that's what I got. And of course, what they did was they switched who they dealt with, and my kid had always just been an Enfamil kid, and then all of a sudden switch over to Similac when she's 11 months old, not able to have milk yet. So, so not only was I trying to switch her over to milk, but I also had to switch her over to the new brand of whoever made that decision. It was just a jerk. It should have been okay. I realize that they went with the person that had the better bid or whatever, but it should have been that if your kid's been raised on the one the whole time, that if your kid's been raised on the one the whole time and they're just about to be able to drink milk, then they stay with that brand. Um, I was told, you can stay with that brand, but you're gonna have to buy it yourself, and we didn't have the money. And that was when it was only like $20, or maybe it was 15. I don't know. It wasn't that much, but we needed the help. So, and I must have done something right because so far our kids do not have allergies. I'm still worried that one of them is going to develop hay fever because it just runs in the family, um, but that's not too bad. You take the medicine and you're good. Oi. Oh. Hey, Sam. I know you're comfortable, but I need to check on my phone. Okay. I didn't want to do this whole thing. Like fill in every little piece. I just wanted to fill um it in like this along the edges, and then I started filling it in a little bit at a time here too. So, but just to a certain level. But um my daughter did have a battle with the deer, so the way my brother said it is like it's a everyday occurrence. And the way my son says it is it was only once. I don't know which one to go with. Okay. What are you doing? Oh my goodness. Okay. This is no. Okay. High school principal, Danny McAndrews, pilot, Sam the Mafia Guard, Caitlin, Justin McAndrews, Sam Crenshaw's mom, Adam Baker, Cheryl. Oh, that's gonna be fun when Sam Crenshaw's mom needs to talk to the principal. That's not gonna work. Um, Adam Baker, Cheryl, Stephanie, Angela. Zach. Yeah, I got Liam over here, so that's probably what I went with. I thought Alfred sounded wrong. Okay. So just a sec. Liam. There. Now, as long as another person with Liam voice doesn't try to talk to Zach, we're fine. I think the problem is that somebody else in that scene also has Liam voice. I'm not sure, but I think so. So, it's great until you need to figure out a different voice for that person. Because they're having a conversation. And, I can't help it when it's Sean and Jesse, but I can help it when it's other people. Because Sean and Jesse are twins. They're going to have the same voice. I'm going to have to figure out what voice I want some of the other characters to have, though, because, like, they have one voice in my head, and then trying to match it up with any of the voices that are available to me doesn't work. So, I don't know. For some reason, I was just thinking Holly. And then I was thinking, have a holly jolly Christmas. which I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was John Snyder was singing it on his he calls it a podcast, but it's a stream. Um, anyway, on his stream, he was singing that, and it sounded good, but it's Burl Ives, you know, it's Burl Ives' song. Um, and I say that because that's who sings it in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that's what I'm used to, and it just doesn't sound right from anybody else to me. It just does not sound right. So, one thing I said, um, one thing I said when I was um, not streaming and thought I was is that we did not get a white Christmas this year. It hasn't even snowed. It keeps saying snowy night or like right now it says cloudy, but it keeps saying snowy night or snowy at the moment or whatever it says. Anyway, and I'm like, where? I don't see any snow. It's been raining, but it has not snowed. And so I'm getting just a little bit upset about that. Just a little. Because on the other hand, I don't want my husband to have the problem of the truck the truck was acting up, the brakes. I don't want there to be the brakes were acting up and he accidentally crashed into a Tesla or I don't know why I decided it was a Tesla, but I was thinking a more expensive car specifically, but Tesla is what came out. Um, you know, I just don't want that kind of stuff to happen. So, okay. So then that needs to go here. Um, well, I was gonna say if my phone wasn't ready yet, and it is, but if my phone wasn't ready, then I was gonna say let's do Dreamlight Valley. I think I'm just trying to come up with an excuse to say, yeah, I can play it. Anyway, I'm loving this because I can have some of the food that I wasn't able to have for the longest time. That seems a little silly. They're in line for pirates, and no. There we go. Okay, so they're in line for pirates, and you can totally see the queue for Indiana Jones. Okay. Oh, this one. So normally I try to make the bottom of the ocean as flat as humanly possible. And then my husband tells me, it's not flat down there, you know. And it's like, well, yeah. But I don't really know how to do the not flat. So this time I'm trying to be a little reasonable and make it not flat. Okay. Okay, so again, I want to get at least 5 pages done before I'm done for the day. And, you know, I want to try to make it to where I can... Want to try to make it to where I can... Um... Will make sense. To where you don't see too much land and it looks, you know, it looks like an ocean. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, oh no! Okay. Oh no again. Keep getting distracted a little bit because, there. Oh, that looked heck empty for a minute there. And then I saw somebody moving. You know, I don't want to be able to see any of this land from up there. And it'll look really nice when it's done. You know, it'll look really nice when it's done, but right now it doesn't look as awesome as I would like it to. But it's going to take some time, so... Today is Friday. Wow. Um... saying wow about it being Friday because, like the other day, it just seemed like it was going to be Monday forever. And then now for the day after Christmas. Wow. And it literally just seems like yesterday when we got, I mean, what, when Coral went her extended vacation, that just seems like yesterday. So weird. This, it didn't seem like it at the time, but this has gone by so quick this year. Um, I think part of that's because there's just been so much going on. And then to add to it, there's other people's cats um that went on their extended vacation. So he said, how'd he word it? That she went over the rainbow. Um, I liked the idea. So yeah, if we can just clear some of this out, finish these pancakes, have a drink of um, raspberry tea. It wasn't as cold as I would like it to be though, because my mother-in-law kept insisting, if you can take the drinks out there, if you can take the drinks out there, if you can take the drinks out there. Well, fine. He finally did, but they weren't as cold as they were supposed to be. Besides, I don't think they have their settings on their refrigerator like we have ours. Um, you put a raspberry tea in there for 2 or 3 days, and it is perfect temperature, or a Coca-Cola. Yeah. Um, I don't know if any of you've seen the movie Goldfinger. It's one of the James Bonds. I think not entirely sure, but I think number 3. Um, if any of you've seen that, he was talking about um wine, or I think it was wine that they were drinking. Anyway, whatever they were drinking, it wasn't right unless it was he said the temperature. But anyway, it wasn't right unless it was that temperature. Well, somebody clunked him over the head shortly after that, but um that's not the point here. Also he stole, I want to say he stole somebody's girlfriend. um But technically, did he really steal her? Because, she went willingly. And, I mean, he probably wasn't going to keep her anyway because it's James Bond. But, uh, anyway, so I think of Coca-Cola and raspberry tea like that. It has to be a certain temperature or it's just wrong. It's is just not right unless it's a certain temperature. Um, of course, I used to be, like, when we'd go to McDonald's, I don't think I was allowed to have Coca-Cola. I don't know why, but I don't think I was allowed to have it for a little while there. Maybe it was making me hyper. I don't know. But anyway, so it would be, do you want Sprite or orange soda? And yeah, I'd make my pick and there you go. Or maybe that wasn't the reason at all. Maybe it was just simply I wouldn't make a decision. I'm really bad at making decisions like that. It's like, do you want or I was. And now I'm like, um definitely this, definitely that. But uh like if we go to Costco, it's got to be Coca-Cola cuz I do not like the raspberry tea and they don't have anything uh that didn't have too much sugar. Oh my goodness. We don't have what? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's go and you know what? We'll put it here. Hopefully this will have water in it. Yeah. Okay. So we can take this and put that there for a minute, and then we can go and take this and put it here. And then we can go down here. So possibility I'm gonna have to go behind me. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say there's a possibility that I'm gonna have to go behind me and fill in this water even more. Okay. I don't think that's where I meant, though. Okay, it's moving, but it's not flowing. Is that okay now? No. Right here? Okay. Now, where did I put that? Okay. And, well, yeah, pick that up. And, oh, wow! Did you know that there was 2 waters in there? I didn't. um, you're probably going, you just killed your ender chest. Yeah, I'm in creative, not a big deal. Um, I mean, obviously, I think obviously I'm in creative since I am flying without an elytra and all that. Um, but yeah, this is my story world, the world from my books. So, this is one part of it, I should say, because there's in my head there's some rooms that uh get bigger and smaller depending on the situation in the book at the time. Because, like, most of the time in my head, the living room is nice, cozy. It's like, um, maybe like the Full House living room. And then, or there's another living. Oh, or like the Matilda, the Matilda one at the end of the movie, when they're doing all sorts of neat, fun things in the living room. You know, roller skating and all that. Um, you know that they were doing fun things in the living room. Um, you know, maybe that size. But then, like, all of a sudden, it'll be a big old banquet room with plenty of room for everybody that is at the party in another scene. You know, because they're having, like, a Halloween party at the house. I mean, you know, at the mansion. Um, we don't call it the mansion very much. We usually call it the house. Because to them, it's home, you know? So, okay, I said I was going to finish the pancakes and then finish the stream. And so far, that has not happened. Okay. Yeah, so when I thought I was streaming, I ran out of stuff to talk about anyway. In this stream, I, came up with a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I don't understand that because my husband needed a new pair of pants the other night, and I guess he had this Denny's plan all along, or maybe it was a last minute decision. I don't know, but but he wouldn't buy the pants, even though we found them at Costco. He's got a very weird size. It's like 38, 36, I think it was. And like back when he wasn't a third, when back when he was like a 34, 36 and a 36, 36, we could find 38, 36. But now that we were looking for it, all of a sudden, we couldn't find it. So, yeah, it ended up being weirdness, but we finally found it at Costco. And they're a little more expensive than Walmart, and uh, so he didn't buy them. But then all of a sudden, he's got money to um, go to Denny's and order pizza on the 23rd. So our special Christmas Eve dinner, just the two of us, ended up being leftover pizza. Which that's okay though. Um, I don't understand understand. I don't understand him sometimes, seriously, because he's like, we don't have money for that. And then all of a sudden he'll come up with money for, eating out because he doesn't feel like cooking. And when we can't afford to buy groceries, he doesn't buy anything that I can actually make, so yeah. I don't get it. I, sometimes I think he wants to complain. Um, but whatever. Okay, so let's change the subject. Anyway, it was really nice being able to eat my pancakes and the toast, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, and there was ham and okay, so there's ham, scrambled eggs, hash browns, which I don't like because of the way that they are. Um, I like hash brown patties. I do not like hash browns. The stringy looking things. I don't like those. And it's not because they're stringy. It's just because they don't, the way it's made, it doesn't taste good to me. Um, this time I did not try it. Usually I at least try it, see if maybe I still don't like it. This time I was just like, no. It's like this breakfast is already been an experiment, so um this breakfast has already been an experiment. Don't want to experiment anymore. But it ended up being a good experiment because I can have bread now. Except for the Costco bun because it upsets my tummy. I want to figure out what I want to find out what the deal is. Because if I can find out what the deal is, then, if I can find out what's in a Costco bun versus what's in what I've been eating, then I could probably um, write to the company and say, hey, you got this and this in your buns, and I can eat it. I can eat all the other buns. I can't eat this one. And I'm not the only one who's having a problem with the buns. We've seen other people. And actually, if I see that lady again, I'll probably be like, I'll probably be like, hey, have you gotten your gallbladder checked out lately? Um, my cat, and very odd timing, sound like he said no, but he's probably looking for his brother. They've been you know, hy- hyper aware of where each other are, or needing to be hyper aware of where each other are since Coral went on her extended vacation. And it's like they weren't like that before. It was like, okay, I'm downstairs, you're upstairs, who cares? But now it's like they have to know. Hey, the last several videos that I've seen of Disneyland, it's been raining or at least very, very cloudy. The sun came out. Wow. Can you believe it? It's a miracle. Okay. Well, actually, I thought that was really cool because My husband wants to scoff it off, but Luke, oh, I mean Squibs, was asking us, or was asking me to pray pray for snow, and they actually got it. So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. But my husband wants to scoff it off and say that they'd already said that it was going to snow, and um, and if it had said that there was going to be snow, how come he was asking me to pray for snow? You know, typically if the weatherman says that, because the way he was talking to me was like the weatherman was saying no, there ain't gonna be no snow, and and then all of a sudden they got snow, and my husband wants to say that it said that they were gonna get snow. I don't think so. He wouldn't have asked me otherwise. But however they got the snow, however they got the snow, they got it. So they were having a snowball fight, and he was asking for um, tips and tricks on how to make a snowball really good. And we didn't have that many snowball fights, and we're from the Bay Area in California, so um, we used to live about an hour away from San Francisco, 45 minutes, something like that. Anyway, if you look it up on the map now, assuming that both of them are still standing, um, we lived right near the Jelly Belly factory and the Anheuser-Busch factory. It says Budweiser on the outside of the building now, but it used to say Anheuser-Busch. And I never understood, was Busch Gardens like Anheuser-Busch? I mean, okay, like Mr. Bush, Busche or something like that. Um, was that him making an amusement park, and he also had the beer thing going on, or is it a whole different person entirely? You know? Or was it supposed to be an amusement park based on beer? You know, I came up with that while I was sitting here, but I don't know. I've never been there, and I kind of want to because I just, I've heard about it a lot since I was a kid, and not not what it's like or anything, just, the name Busch Gardens. Knowing my luck, it's probably a Six Flags now. All the amusement, except for Disneyland, all the amusement parks that I've ever heard of, um, have turned into something else. We used to have a place called Marine World Africa USA in Vallejo, California, and apparently it was somewhere else entirely before that. Um, I don't remember it being anywhere else. I just remember it being in Vallejo. So anyway, we'd go up there at least once a year, even though it was like only half an hour away from our house. But we'd go there at least once a year, and um, it was a place to learn about the animals, endangered species. I did not know that, but endangered species, and I decided though one year there was a um poster or something on the wall that was showing animals from um that was showing animals from Marine World, or the teacher was talking about Marine World, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway, somehow I found out that all of those animals at Marine World were endangered species, and I'm like, that would include the tigers, right? And she's like, yeah. So I did a report on that because we were supposed to do a report on some endangered animal. So I'm like, oh, good. I'll do it on tigers because I've always loved tigers, but I don't think I'd ever have one. I fantasized having one as a pet when I was a kid. Um, and like if somebody had a mean dog, I could, bring out my kitty cat, my tiger. Um, that's not what I wanted. Um, anyway, I could bring out my tiger, and I don't think that was my thought when I was a kid, but he's uh he's recording the ducks, and they literally walked up to, I don't know if it's his feet, but they literally walked up close to the bench where the person was sitting, and they're just walking around like they're so used to humans that they're not worried at all. Hi. Of course, the humans usually feed them junk like popcorn. Because it always, makes you, it kind of, you get to see the ducks at Disneyland, and, you toss some popcorn and you watch them eat it, and, you know, it makes you feel good. But technically, that popcorn's not good for the ducks. But they're so used to eating junk that, I'm not saying popcorn's junk, because technically, popcorn is just popped corn. But when you start putting butter and salt on it, that's a different subject. Anyway, I am done with my breakfast and I am pretty happy. So yeah, yesterday I got to have two pieces of sausage, two pieces of bacon, um, a slice of ham, um, scrambled eggs, and okay, so my mother-in-law said not runny, and uh I think that the waitress misunderstood her. Every once in a while, Denise is like in a big, their cook is in a big hurry. And, it could be a not busy day and they'd still be in a big hurry. So they don't quite get your scrambled eggs right. They make it like McDonald's where it's a little runny and or at least that's how they used to make it. I stopped eating breakfasts at McDonald's if I could because of that. Actually, I do like the idea that they have the hash brown though. But last time I ate there, I had to have a glass of milk, and that was when my stomach didn't like milk. So, yeah. Yeah, I was like, it got to the point where I'm just like, okay, my stomach is not feeling good. We don't have anything to fix it. Might as well make it worse and do the milk thing. But the milk thing worked. So, I don't know how, but it fixed my stomach. So, it was awesome. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what they're doing on this video. They're like, I guess they're waiting for the Mark Twain to start loading. Oh, raspberry tea. I think they're waiting for it to load. Yeah, because he just got on it. Okay. And there is somebody on here that sounds like Tom Hanks. He totally sounds like Tom Hanks if he was saying that line. So, I don't know if it is, but I would not be surprised if they said, yeah, that's Tom Hanks. Um, we didn't see Polar Express this year. That's kind of a December 15th kind of movie. I need to like reorganize. Um, like I've got a list of movies that, um, Christmas movies and TV shows that we should watch, but there's like ones that should be earlier in the month. Um, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Totally a like December 1st to the 5th because it's like, not so close to Christmas. Or even if you start watching your Christmas movies that early, like the day after Thanksgiving or like say the day of Thanksgiving, um I would say that it's a December I mean a November day after Thanksgiving to November 30th, really. Anyway, We might end up watching some Christmas movies later. I don't know. So I think we can get a whole lot of those little videos out of the way today. And then we can I think we can get a lot of the little videos out of the way today, and then maybe watch the next big one tomorrow when I'm streaming. You know, tomorrow is Saturday, so that means Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Um, yeah. So, oh, okay. I'm like, how far out are we? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so that whole entire thing right there is going to get turned into water. Usually, what I do is I'll go and, um, I'll have the water up here, like, say, right here, and then, make it go, I'll make it go down to the spot over there. But I don't think I should do that because I don't know. Okay, so at the spot where we're at is where the water line is. And oh, I thought I filled this in. Oh, I still need more parking spaces, I think. And the gas station part. See, see this is even wrong. Where did the mansion go? Okay. Okay. So the water line is down here over here. Here's where the water line is. And then there's the beach, and then not exactly this way, but what was that? Oh, all the dogs and cats. Here, watch. See, there's they had names. Oh, see that one's Vanessa. What were you doing in the water? Well, anyway, they all had names. Um anyway, so then, this is going to have to be taken out, and some of that's going to have to be taken down. And let's see if I can do this and not attract my animals. Anyway, but it's like supposed to have more water going up toward the gas station and the school. And I don't think that's going to work. And this isn't supposed to be this flat necessarily either, but it kind of works, so. Dang. Oh, did I do that? Okay. Yeah, and like I said, I would like to get to the point where I've got at least 5 pages done, and um, I got at least 5 pages done, and I can um do Dreamlight Valley for a little bit and then go back to my story afterwards. But I don't know if that's gonna work. And if I play Dreamlight Valley after dinner, then I'm gonna be a little tired, so I don't know if that's gonna work either. But anyway, over there on that beach is supposed to be a big old cave formation. I want to make it a little taller than I had it last time, but anyway, there's supposed to be a big old cave formation over there, and that's where Ashley likes to hide out when she's, um, when she's wanting to hide from people. That's where she goes. When she wants to pretend that she has run away, and yeah. So anyway, that's where she likes to hang out, and Sean doesn't know it's there because he always thought that you go inside and there's, a small crevice and that's it. But Ashley, at some point in time, discovered that no, there's a whole area over there. So she made that her hiding spot. Okay. And she told Sam Crenshaw about it, but um maybe Chantel. I think she told. I know she told Sam Crenshaw at one point, but I don't know if she told Chantel. And anyway, after Sean does find out about it, he gets tied up in there by like a bank robber or something. Um, I can't remember what I wrote in there, but yeah. So I think we'll go back over there, and we're trying to find a good. Okay, eventually we're trying to find a good spot over here somewhere where we can build the island, and it's gonna be that same shape that the lighthouse is. But yeah, we're gonna build that, and it's got to be far enough away that they cannot swim, but far enough away that the but close enough that the ship can, swim circles around it if they wanted to. Um, like um, they need to be close, but not, but I mean, not too far out and not too close to the island that they could swim back. There. But we're gonna have to go and take all of this out. Um, obviously not going to do that today. We've already done a lot. Okay. There. I still don't know why officially you're not supposed to go up to you're not supposed to go up to the tree and do this. I don't know why. Is it just because it looks weird? Is it because it'll grow back? Um, what is the reason? Um, or is it maybe because it drives people crazy when you do that because they're expecting it to go all the way down to the bottom and it doesn't? There's got to be a reason why people don't want you to do that. It's like one of those unwritten rules that you're not supposed to do this in Minecraft. Or maybe it is written. I don't know. But anyway, like you're not supposed to do it. But why? If anybody knows, let me know. Okay, I do not have hostile mobs on. And if I did, I'd have to have all the houses be bedrock, which would make it to where the, to where painting the houses is not mattering. I would have to be able to have a lot of stuff be bedrock. Okay. No! I'm kind of waiting for somebody to come on here and say, what kind of breathing potion do you have? Because they don't realize I'm playing creative. That'd be kind of funny. What's the matter, love? So if they're going, no, no, or something like that. I think he's bored. But since it's super cold outside, I don't know that I want to take him out. Okay. Um, oh, the candlelight procession is going to be in 4K. Yeah, okay. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. And just in case anybody's going to get upset at me for supposedly singing a song, nope, just making silly noises. I have to go find out what my cat is playing with. So it was small enough that I couldn't see. Hold on. Hey babe, what you doing? What you playing with? Ben's up here. Yeah, Ben's up here. Bobby's up there. Okay, I didn't figure it out. So now he's playing with this toy. And that's good. Okay. Sammy's got the zoomies. Mommy's got to look away for 2 seconds to look what happens. Okay. I think the word was super chat, but since I'm barely hearing it, it sounds like super cat. I think what I'm doing with this is that I'm getting the basic, uh, the basic shape and then decorate it later. Yeah, somewhere in here I need to build a. I've never built it either. Somewhere in here I need to build a airport, and I need to build a. Um, well, no, I think I started building the military base on this file. Maybe that was the last file. Yeah, maybe that was the last file. I don't know. But as soon as I've got at least everything that I've got in the other file, um, as soon as I got everything that's in the other file in this one, um, I will do what I can to, oh, I mean, I'll probably delete that original, April 2024 file and just keep this one. But I'm gonna keep updating it. So I've got a backup copy just in case. Don't eat the barn. Yeah, you can give it loves, but do not eat it. I don't know why, but Bobby seems to think plastic barn tastes good. I really don't know why. I'm pretty much, if I don't think it tastes good, she shouldn't think it tastes good either. Um, yeah, I need them to be able to be seen from the shore, but and that book I need to I need to fix some stuff. They get left out on an island over there somewhere while the ship is headed this direction to go home. And like I said, they get picked up. Oh, I might have said that before. They get um they get picked up by the enemy pirates. And so the enemy pirates are um I don't remember if they were supposed to be selling uh sh- Sean and Hayden, and I don't know if I don't know if they're supposed to be selling Sean to, uh, to his grandfather or somebody or what? I can't remember right now. Haven't listened to that one in a long time either. Anyway, I didn't like how something was said yesterday, so instead of spelling ha ha H-A-H-A like it's supposed to be, I ended up having to spell it H-A-W H-A-W. And then now it's a little more pronounced and you can understand what they're saying. I don't exactly like that either, but it sounds better than the first way. So, I was just remembering a movie called The Breakfast Club, and one of the girls says that the only reason why she was there is because she had nothing better to do. And it's like, there is so much more stuff that you could do when you have nothing better to do. You can go to the library and, you know, check out a book, take it home, read it. Or read it there if you can read with, tons of people talking. Um, I can't really, but. Oh, that was another thing I was saying, and I don't think I was streaming at the time. Um, so yesterday we ended up over at my mother-in-law's house, and her husband had to work, so my father-in-law had to work. And he wasn't getting off until 8, we thought. Apparently it was 8:15. So we had dinner hecka late, but anyway, before that, she wanted to watch a um I don't know if it was a TV show or a movie or at least a special. I don't know. Anyway, it was called Nature's Half Acre, and she fell asleep on that. And then I wanted to watch something else. Oh, I think it was Muppets Christmas Carol because um I remember him talking to the Marleys, and then the next thing I know, he's talking to the Ghost of Christmas Future. And I know that's not how it went, so um I missed the part where he's talking to um what's her name? On Flintstones her name was Belle, but I can't think of what her name was on Isabel on Mickey's Christmas Carol. So yesterday, anyway, so I ended up falling asleep on it, and then I think we watched something else. Um, and we watched Babes in Toyland. Babes in Toyland, I was awake for all of it. I was watching that. I don't think Annette is a natural born fake crier though, because instead of just being upset and the tears, she did that part really well. But when Barnaby would talk to her, she was like, ah! As loud as she could be. So I don't think she was a natural born fake crier at that point in her life, but yeah. Um, but anyway, we watched all that, and then what did we watch? I can't remember, but anyway, the whole thing was that what did we watch? Oh, we watched Miracle on 34th Street when my father-in-law finally got home. And I was starting to fall asleep on it. It's not because it's boring. It's just because I was tired. Um, so I usually get up somewhere in the 7 o'clock hour, and then go upstairs, do what I need to do, and then come back down here. And by then it's 8:03 or something like that lately. But are you two playing? As long as you play nicely. Anyway, then I start my stream and you know. But this one's going way over what it was supposed to go. Um well, we're trying to get back over there anyway. What is it with Disney and having to jazz up every song that was ever made? I don't like that. I mean, Mickey Mouse Club theme song was, jazzy enough to begin with. And then they're having her not sing it right. Either way. I mean, I'm complaining about it. It sound good, but it's just not the way it's supposed to be, and it doesn't sound right. It almost makes me not want to go because I know I'm gonna hear stuff like that, or they jazzed up whatever it was. It's like they'll be that one group they'll be singing the old mill stream, which you all probably heard on Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. And it's, more of a quartet without jazzing it up. Quartet means four singers in the group. Anyway, and they'll be singing the old mill stream. It's It's like, that's not what you do. No, no, no. Okay. Okay. So, again, my books are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, and Adopted Coral. Well, technically, I guess it's Coral, and the series is adopted, so yeah. Anyway, um, there will be 6 links in the description below. You just pick a link and you click on that one, and it will take you directly to Amazon where that book is available. Um, there will be no stopping at, other websites, just straight there. And, um, just straight there, and you'll be able to see everything having to do with that book. I think even, if you're worried about that, even including the dimensions of the book. That's how it worked out with the book that I found from. I found it at Walmart, and I'm like, okay, that's the size of the book that I want it to be, and I did not know that it could say the dimensions, that how big the book is. So I saw how big the book was, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. You know, um, that's what I was seeing at Walmart, and then I was trying to figure out how big it was, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I went on Amazon, and I'm like, oh, great. Okay, so that's how um that's how big I'm gonna make my next book, if I can. If I cannot, then But if I can make it that size, then that's the size that they will be from now on, and it'll be perfect. And maybe I can even lower my costs, but I don't know yet. I will let you know. There might be more because they're like a specialty size. I don't know. Um, Hopefully not. Cause, cause like when you're buying socks, you can usually get a set of socks for $10, or right around there. Well, probably 15 now, but if you got big feet like my husband, then you gotta pay $25 for that same thing of socks because you got big feet. And yeah, so I'm thinking if socks work that way, where there's more material used, so it costs more, maybe the more material used for a big book like that, um, I mean, if there's less material that I'm using, maybe it'll bring down the cost. Okay. Oh, we're past the time I wanted to end. Again. Okay. But I do need to finish that before Wednesday. Oh, now I'm torn. Do I want to work on my book? Do I want to work on the other thing? No. I don't know. I need to work on my book, but Dreamlight Valley is calling me too. And it's like there's so much stuff on Dreamlight Valley that I need to finish. But on the other hand, I also want to start putting up the ornaments. Um, what? What? Um, okay, you're there. I don't know where Ben is. I don't know. You're gonna have to find him. Yeah, Bobby's up there. And she didn't make him go away. She might have given him the evil eye, but she did not make him go away. Bobby just doesn't like the boys because they're boys, I think. Also, Sam just randomly chases her. Or the other day it was Ben. I was like, what? I really was. I was like, what? Because he's usually the reasonable one. Trying to be nice and listen to mama. But no. This time he was like, I'm chasing Bobby. Okay. So maybe I'll get brave next time we go to Costco for hot dogs. And I felt really bad yesterday because there was this guy and he had a sign on his backpack saying he's homeless at the moment, and I did not know what to do. Don't want a random stranger in the house, even though we got an extra room. Don't want a random stranger in the house. You never know if they're going to be nice or mean. And he had a dog. But I was thinking of at least giving him my change. Um, and then I was thinking, you know what? He needs the $5, the $5 also. So I started to go out there and take him some, and if the waitress came around, um, if the waitress came around, uh, have my husband order me another Coke. Well, it didn't work that way because he was gone and there was a different guy with a different backpack. So I just gave up on the idea. And it was pretty dang cold last night, so I hope that they found a good place to stay. Because one year, that's something I want to be able to do with my money. Because one year, um, if I get book sales, there was a guy that was trying to sleep the, um, behind one of the grocery stores, one of our local grocery stores, and, he didn't make it that winter. And I don't know who found out, but yeah, it was in the the news, I guess. And like I want to be able to buy, like, have a, buy the lot behind the grocery store, that particular one, and have a bunch of tiny homes back there. I mean, they're on that lot, and people that are down on their luck like that could have a place to stay. I've said that before, and I will most likely say it again. Yeah. It gets cold where we're at, and I can only imagine that there's some other places that it's even colder. Like Montana, Alaska. Um, well, Siberia is definitely colder. I heard, I want to say through the news, they don't always tell the absolute truth, but they were saying something like you can only step outside for like 10 minutes at a time without freezing to death. Where, wherever they were specifically talking about, um, it was, you could step out for maybe 10 minutes. So if you need to borrow a cup of sugar, you better hope that you got a snowmobile or something so you can get over to their neighbor's house quick. Ew, imagine that. You just ordered, and we're just going to use this as an example because I know that they do delivery food. But imagine you just ordered all your food from Walmart to have delivered to the house, and uh, your delivery driver was one of those unfortunate people who were out of their car for more than 10 minutes. And because I'm just assuming that the cars would have would have a heater and keep you warm enough to go outside. They do around here, so yeah. But what if that would suck? And then you can't go out and look for them because you might have that problem where you're out of your house for more than 10 minutes. Wow. That'd be crazy. Or like, what if you have one of those driveways that it takes at least 10 minutes to walk up it, and it's so full of snow that you have to, yeah, you have to walk. Okay. Oh, fun. Okay, one last thing. Um, um, yeah, I can't take that out either. Guess I can take that out just for a moment. Oh, the problem is there's holes. Okay. No, can't do it. Still streaming. We gotta figure out something. Oh wait, that's too far. Okay, hold on. Not that. This. There we go. Okay, I know this is a hideously long video. And, anyway, this is a hideously long video, and I understand that. But, we will get it figured out. Okay. You know, the main reason why I don't want to talk to anybody while I'm streaming is because usually they're playing some other game and uh sit around, usually turns it around to something political, and I don't want that on my stream. You know? Okay, so yeah, I think I got all the water the way I need it. I hope. Okay. Usually I like to have water with me, but right now I need these materials and hold on. Okay, I think I can continue my there, my thought process up here. No problem. I think. You know me, I'll probably look at it and going, what was I doing? That's how I usually do it. I'm usually like, what was I doing? And then I come up with it and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I was doing. I'm not entirely sure that isn't actually going to be bigger than that because we still gotta do school stuff. Yeah, we still gotta do school stuff. Putting in classrooms, portables, um, what else? Let's see here. Classrooms, portables, computer room. The computer room takes a very good, it is a very needed part because um, that's where Natalie meets Romeo. Hold on. No, I don't know why Hawthorne would be calling me. If he calls right back, then I'll know it's my husband. And he got super lost. Okay. Because he was only supposed to be going, um, um, was he supposed to be going to? Is he either going to work here locally or he was either going to work here locally or he was going to, um, if you're salaried, you don't get overtime. I just realized that. My husband's not thinking of it that way. If you're salaried, you don't get overtime. You're just there. Um, okay. This is taking forever. I just realized this could be. If we're going this way like this, um, part of that could be could not supposed to be here. I don't know. Oh, no, 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 no. This is a 2. This is a 3. It's the next one that I was supposed to take out. Helps if you have the thing open that you're supposed to have, though. Okay, going all the way that way is reminding me of that one episode of Baywatch. I don't know if they're like trying to get rid of his character. Uh, David Hasselhoff's character, or if they were just having a very serious episode. But he ended up having to go like way deep in the water, and he came up too fast and messed with his you know like he messed with his whole system. And so so not him, not David himself, of course, but the uh, his character, I don't remember what his character's name is, but he almost died because I want to say he was rescuing his son. I can't remember, but I want to say he was rescuing his son on the show, of course. Um, I can't remember, but anyway, he was rescuing somebody, and he ended up almost um being unalived. So anyway, it was like a 2-part episode, if I remember correctly, or maybe a 3-part. Anyway, it was like totally serious. So he pro either they were thinking about taking him off the character list, or which I don't think that would have, that would have been a good thing. But anyway, or they were, I mean, he had something to do outside of Baywatch, and um, he could have had something to do outside of Baywatch, and they gave him an out to do it. Usually, usually companies are like, or at least it seems like, usually companies are like, you work for us. But sometimes they're nice and they'll let you go do the thing that you want to do, and, still work where you're working. So, anyway, I need to get off of here. I figured out what Zach's voice is. Um, which only works if Craig's voice is not Liam. If Craig's voice is Liam, then I have a problem. But if it's something else, then I'm okay. Because it would sound really weird if Jesse is talking to Zach and Zach's voice is Liam, and then also Jonah is talking to Craig and Craig's voice is Liam. That, that would not be good. Um, and the more I think about it, these guys all sound American in my head. Um, but I'm saying that both of Jonah's parents are Australian, or at least, they lived in Australia. Well, technically Michelle lived on ship, but um oh, name a part of your eyeball. Yeah, that was actually harder than, I think I've seen parts of that. It's for Family Feud. I think I've seen parts of that, and it was harder um than it needed to be. But also, you gotta figure out what they said, because they surveyed 100 people, and you gotta figure out what they said. So if you ever are playing some form of Family Feud and it asks you to name pieces of the eyeball, I know that there's pupil, retina, iris, um, yeah. Oh, cornea, I think. Ugh. Okay. I'm just dragging this out as far as I can go. I've noticed. And I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just that it's needing to be done. Okay. You know what? I'm saying that video games are calling me, so maybe I had to work on the story either after dinner or while I'm working on the other one. Because I can do it. It's going to take a little bit. Okay. Except for the part where I need to... Um, 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 this is not okay. How did I do that? Came over here, went straight up, ended up over there. How does that work? Okay, I really do think I can work on this later. Eventually I will get... eventually I will hit that fence over there and have to come up with something. But I think I can do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is taking forever. Okay, so that. So on the movie Deck the Halls, um, the eye doctor's wife edits people's recipes so they actually taste good. So like one of the things required quail's eggs. And um you know uh, his last name is Finch, but I can't think of his first name right now. Oh, Steve. Okay. So Steve, you know, lied to his wife and said, "Oh boy, I hope there's more of that." And she goes, "You are such a bad liar." And she's like, "It's the quail eggs, isn't it?" And she described what she thought they tasted like, and yeah, just yucky, whatever it was. I don't know what quail eggs taste like, but I will stick with chicken. Uh, yeah, I will stick with traditional eggs. One, two. Okay, one, two. 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's getting to the point where it's like, well, if I do it now, I won't have to do it later. Okay, so I thought there was going to be a lovely parade in Disneyland, and apparently there's a lovely parade in DCA on this one. Disney California Adventure. What's the matter, baby? Okay, so Sam's kind of up there in age too. He's gonna be, um, six. Okay, Ben's gonna be 13, so that means that Sam is gonna be 11. And he's taken to when he's asleep, he kind of jumps like he had a jump scare. And I keep thinking that I don't know what a heart attack really looks like. I'm just seeing them on movies and things. So, well, yeah, I guess movies. I don't think I've seen them on TV shows. Um, like if somebody's gonna have a heart attack on the TV show, they have it off screen because it would be too much for most viewers. Um, in fact, I only know one TV show that did have a heart attack on stream. I mean, on the TV show itself, and that's Blue Bloods. But Blue Bloods is not sure if it's still going on. Um, is one of those shows where they showed stuff that you wouldn't normally show on TV. So, um, so one of the seasons, it's Thanksgiving time, and while they're getting the turkey ready, Henry has a heart attack or something that looks really close to a heart attack. They never actually confirm whether it was a heart attack or not, but we'll just say it was. Anyway, and so they end up at the hospital, and Frank Reagan, Henry's son, played by Tom Selleck, he doesn't know what medications his dad's taking, and he's like, I don't know. Like, I should know. and and the doctor's being really really nice about it. She's like, the pharmacy should know. And he gives the name of the pharmacy and they figure it out. So, anyway, but yeah, that one is the only one that I've actually seen where they had like a heart attack on the TV show. But usually it's on movies, and I don't know if that's even accurate. But yeah, he makes these little movements in his sleep, and I'm just expecting one of them to be a heart attack, even though he's a cat. You don't hear a whole lot of instances that I know of anyway, where a cat has a heart attack, but I wouldn't put it past him. Um, so yeah, before the 6th, we need to figure out a way for me to be able to renew my 365 because um, I use it all the time for my stories. And if we cannot afford it, then it's going to be like, well, my stories are put on hold. And that would not be good because I love my stories, you know. I love them. And I want to be able to publish more. Okay, so yeah, we're getting closer and closer to where we're going to be um, crashing into that wall over there. Oh, great. I mean, we literally are getting closer and closer to where we're going to be crashing into the wall over there. Ugh, not good. Not good. So Blue Bloods, I was expecting there to be some kind of Christmas episode, but I don't think that they um I don't think they wanted to like violate all the goodness of Christmas by having something bad happen. It was perfectly fine to do it for Thanksgiving, but they didn't do it for Christmas. They even had a little segment in there where it was Halloween. I mean, it was just a little scene in one of the episodes, but it's Halloween and um, Erin is dressed up as the Wicked Witch and her daughter, I can't think of her name, Nikki. Nikki is dressed up like Dorothy, and then I think the boys, Danny and can't I can never think of her name. Danny and well, anyway, Danny's boys. Because I can't think of her name at all whatsoever. But anyway, they're dressed up like flying monkeys, I think, or maybe they were the witch's minions, but they weren't green, so yeah, I think it was flying monkeys. Anyway, whatever they were dressed up as. Anyway, I thought it was really cool because they're dressed up as stuff from uh, The Wizard of Oz. When my daughter was dressed up as Dorothy, nobody knew who she was, and I was pretty much appalled. I was like, "What the heck?" Um, I mean, she had the blue checkered dress. She had the red ruby slippers. Um, and if I would have thought about it, I mean, if I would have remembered to look, I would have gotten the ones with the heels, but they didn't have them when I had the money, so or we ended up getting the heels. I don't remember. Um, anyway, it wasn't a very big heel. It was a little heel, but a little heel for a little kid. Um, yeah, because this wouldn't work. Never mind. I'll have to figure it out from there. So, I'm gonna park myself right here so I can remember that I need to fill that in over there and take this out and all that. Okay, so again, please go on Amazon and check out my books, and they are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, and a whole separate series called Adopted, and the first book is Coral. Remember, that's a children's series, and it should be able to be read by children. Um, let's see here. What else? Oh yeah. If you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. If you're watching me on YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and I will see you in the next stream or video.